Hey guys, Michael here. Today I'm talking about a new service called OnLive. And what this is it's basically what they claim as the future of video games. Now just a quick thing, this video would have been produced earlier in the week, probably on Wednesday, because I like to give you guys the newest, freshest news as it becomes available, but if you were following me on Twitter at twitter.com/blue42richman, which I suggest you do, you would know why. But anyway, what OnLive is it's basically a way for you to connect and play the hottest games through your broadband internet connection. So you don't need to buy anything new. You don't need to buy an expensive console or computer or whatever. You can just play your games and get started. So how does it work? First, you connect to OnLive with your TV, and we'll talk about that in a second, or your PC or Macintosh through a browser plugin, and then you just go ahead and start your game. Now the game runs in a state-of-the-art OnLive game server center, and then you connect to your game through the servers through the internet, and controller actions are sent instantly upstream and results downstream. So you're going to need a broadband internet connection. But what are the specific requirements? Right now, OnLive says that nearly any broadband connection, whether that be DSL, cable, fiber, through any LAN in your college or office, supposedly that it's all compatible. And for standard definition TV resolution, you're going to need a 1.7 megabit per second connection. For HD resolution, which they say is 720p at 60 frames a second, is a 5 megabit per second connection. So I personally have a fiber optic connection through Fios from Verizon, so I am nowhere near worried about it. And if you have any, basically what they're saying is a decent internet connection, and you'll be able to play your games instantly. One of the things that I was thinking, can you try the games for free? That's something that right now you really can't. You can sort of do with game demos if you purchase them off or just download them off Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network. So does this offer it? Yes, it does. You can play the latest and greatest demos, and you can even rent games instead of buying them to try them out. In fact, OnLive even lets you watch players as they're playing the game to show you if you want to play it, to just learn some new tricks as you watch them. And they'll also allow you to use any sort of headset you want or any controller that you can interface with your computer to do that. And they even have a micro console, which I was talking about how it connects to your TV, and that includes a controller and allows you to play games right on the big screen. So they'll include the little box, and they'll connect to your internet connection, and then you'll just have your controller and you're good to go. Now, what are the actual computer requirements? Now, according to OnLive, because everything's housed on their server, you don't really need a powerful machine. In fact, they say that you can pretty much use any PC running a current version of Windows XP or Vista, or an Intel-based Mac running the current version of OS X. So really, what they're saying is you don't need, a fancy computer, a fancy Mac, whatever you have should allow you to play. Now, another cool thing is games are patched automatically on the data server, and they start instantly. So you don't have to go through that annoying process of patching your games, whatever. Just forget all about that. Just press a button and you're playing and you're good to go. And simply put, it's just instant gaming, anytime, anywhere. Now this could really change the way people game when you think about it, because you don't need, like I mentioned, an Xbox 360, that's like what, $400? You don't need that. You don't need a PlayStation 3. You don't need these different consoles that compete against each other. In fact, you don't need physical media, and again, you don't need an expensive gaming rig. If you've seen any people, making these $5,000 systems, you don't need that. Imagine playing Crysis, which personally I don't really like that much, but it's kind of a benchmark for game performance on the gaming rig PC side of things. Imagine playing Crysis on a netbook and getting the same experience as somebody on a $2,000, $5,000 machine. That's pretty nice, particularly because you can play no matter where you are. So you can play when you're on vacation, you can play when you're on a trip, so you don't need to lug around a console with you or just sacrifice that. You just bring whatever machine you're going to bring with you. And again, that doesn't have to be an expensive gaming rig. It can be anything. It could be your MacBook that you already have, or it could be a netbook that you carry around for school or whatever. You can just play on there. So, it's really a great thing when you think about it. So OnLive, you can check them out at onlive.com, games on demand. This is another one of their taglines. Now, this is supposedly going to be a subscription-based service, and you can also rent the games, which I mentioned as a trial mechanism, but you can rent the games as well. They're not currently partnering with any first-person publishers, and that makes sense when you think about it. You're not going to see Microsoft saying, okay, OnLive, take some Halo games and go enjoy that, because that's something exclusive to their console that they want to keep to draw people in. So I'm not really expecting things this generation, but as the hardware of this generation ages and gets older in a few years, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, I could see some first-party publishers like Microsoft or whatever, or Nintendo saying, you know what, we don't really need a console anymore. I think they would think it's better for the consumer, because I've always thought if you had one console, it would be perfect, because you don't need to spend 400 times 3 to get the 3 consoles. And I know that's not the actual pricing, but you understand what I mean. You don't have to buy 3 consoles that are totally proprietary against each other. You can just have one thing and play all your games there. And I always said that, you know, I would pay a more expensive console, maybe a $600 console, if I could play games from all 3 systems on there. Now that would never happen, because everything again is proprietary, because they want you to buy those different consoles. They want you to have their proprietary stuff. But with OnLive, you know, if the publishers can go along with it and the current game selection is, you know, it's not even, this service isn't even available yet, and they have Crisis Warhead, Burnout Paradise, Fear 2, Mirror's Edge, Unreal Tournament 3, and Company of Heroes, among others, and they'll be continuing to expand their gaming library. But if they can start getting more and more third-party publishers, you know, pushing their games out the same day it's going out on Xbox 360, the same day it's going out on PS3, it's going out on OnLive also, and you can instantly play it. You know, that's a pretty nice thing to have. And again, if first-party publishers like Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, you know, if they can jump on this bandwagon, you know, sort of bite their tongue, and there's a lot of reasons if you want to do this. I mean, the PS3, I believe, is still not profitable as a console. The Xbox 360 has caused major headaches for Microsoft when you consider all the problems they've had with overheating, all the problems they've had with scratching, and, you know, just all those issues that we've seen. The companies may not want to do this anymore. Nintendo really had the best experience with their Wii. Recently, they've announced that the demand is reaching the supply, so that's just something to keep in mind if you want to get a Wii. But, you know, OnLive's looking pretty sweet. Now, we haven't really seen anything, and lag and delay could be an issue, particularly if you're playing an action game or a first-person shooter where that, you know, split second gives you the difference between losing and surpassing the level. But, you know, OnLive claims that they've solved this issue. But really, we won't see until the beta becomes available in summer 2009. So if you want to check out the beta, if you want to sign up for that, you can go to onlive.com/beta_program.html, and there'll be a link in the show notes also. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe at youtube.com/therevived1, and check out my blog at michaelsherlock.com. I alluded to it before, but please follow me on Twitter for exclusive content, twitter.com/blue42richman. Take care, guys.